Get out of my house and don't ever come back. You mean nothing now. The words didn't just echo. They struck. I was still holding the black dress I wore to my father's funeral when my sister slammed the door in my face. No hesitation, no pause, just erased. Hi, my name is Althea Rowe, and 3 days ago I buried my father and somehow I lost my home the same week. The driveway still smelled like fresh rain as I stood there, suitcase in hand, staring at the house I grew up in. The porch light flickered. The same one Dad always forgot to fix. Now it belonged to her. My older sister, the one who didn't even cry at the funeral. Dad left everything to me. She had said earlier, arms folded like a verdict had already been signed. The house, the business, the $44 million, all of it. I remember blinking, waiting for her to smile, to say it was a joke. She didn't. Instead, she stepped aside and pointed to the door like I was a stranger. So, I walked because I had nothing left to fight with. But as I reached the gate, something didn't sit right. Not the silence, not her behavior. Something deeper was off. I didn't go far. There's a kind of numbness that settles in when your entire life gets rewritten in a single afternoon. I ended up at a small motel off Route 9, peeling paint, flickering neon, the kind of place Dad would have joked about but still paid for if I needed it. And that's what kept looping in my head. Dad, because none of this felt like him. My father, Edward Rowe, was many things, strict, calculated, even intimidating in business, but never unfair, especially not to me. We built things together. I helped him expand Rowe Logistics from a regional operation into something that investors actually respected. Late nights, spreadsheets, negotiations, I was there for all of it. My sister, she barely showed up. She liked the lifestyle, the parties, the credit cards, the last-minute emergencies that always somehow needed money. So, how did she walk away with everything? I sat on the edge of the motel bed, staring at the folder I grabbed before leaving the house. I didn't even remember taking it. Inside were old documents, contracts, notes, and one name circled in Dad's handwriting. Mr. Halverson, attorney. I froze because I suddenly remembered something he said a week before he died. Alpha, when the time comes, don't trust what you hear. Read everything. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face at the door. Cold, certain, like she'd already erased me from the story. By morning, I was in a taxi heading downtown. The office building stood exactly the same. Glass, steel, and quiet power. Halverson and Pike, Dad trusted them for everything, which meant if there was truth anywhere, it was here. The receptionist smiled politely. Do you have an appointment? No, I said steady. But my father did. A few minutes later, I was sitting across from a man in his 60s, sharp eyes, composed posture. Mr. Halverson? I asked. He nodded slowly. You must be Althea, not Miss Rowe, not confused. He knew me and that alone made my chest tighten. I believe there's been a mistake, I said carefully. My sister claims she inherited everything. For a second, he just looked at me. Then something unexpected happened. He leaned back and laughed, not cruelly, but like someone who had just heard something absurd. I was wondering when you'd show up, he said. My stomach dropped. Althea, did you even read the will? The room went completely still. Because I hadn't, and suddenly I realized that might have been exactly what my sister was counting on. My fingers felt cold as Mr. Halverson slid the document across the desk. This, he said calmly, is your father's final will. Signed, witnessed, filed. I stared at the pages, legal language, paragraphs, clauses, but one line stood out immediately. Bold, undeniable. Primary beneficiary. Althea Rowe. My name, not hers. My breath caught. That's not possible, I whispered. Mr. Halverson adjusted his glasses. It's not only possible, it's intentional. Your father was very clear. My pulse started racing. Then why does my sister think she inherited everything? I asked. He gave me a look, one that carried both understanding and quiet warning. Because, he said slowly, she was supposed to. I froze. What? There's a conditional clause, he continued, tapping the page. Your sister was granted temporary control of the estate under one condition. I leaned forward, heart pounding. What condition? He met my eyes that she would prove herself trustworthy by taking care of you. The silence that followed was suffocating because in that moment, everything snapped into place. The cruelty, the speed, the eviction. This wasn't just betrayal. She had failed a test. She didn't even realize she was being watched for. And I had just passed. I didn't react immediately. I just sat there staring at the page, letting it settle. My sister didn't just betray me. She disqualified herself. Mr. Halverson folded his hands. Your father anticipated conflict. That's why he structured it this way. Control was never ownership. A slow breath left my chest. For the first time since the funeral, I wasn't confused anymore. I was clear. What happens now? I asked. He didn't hesitate. Now we verify the condition has been violated. Once confirmed, the entire estate transfers to you fully and permanently. I nodded. Then I asked the only thing that mattered. What do you need from me? Proof, he said simply. And suddenly I had plenty. The voice recording from the driveway, her telling me I meant nothing. The security camera footage from the house exterior. The text she sent afterward. Don't come back. This is my house now. Each one felt like a blade when I first read them. Now they were evidence. I stood up slowly, gathering the documents because something inside me had shifted. The pain was still there, but underneath it, something sharper had formed. Not anger, not revenge, precision, and this time I wasn't walking away. 3 days later, I stood right back where she threw me out. Only this time, I wasn't alone. A black car pulled up behind me. Mr. Halverson stepped out first, followed by 2 men in suits and a uniformed officer. The porch light flickered again. Funny how some things don't change. Ready? He asked quietly. I nodded. He knocked footsteps fast, confident. The door swung open and there she was. Same expression, same arrogance until she saw who I brought with me. What is this? She snapped, eyes darting between us. Mr. Worth stepped forward, calm as ever. Good afternoon. We're here regarding the estate of Edward Rowe. Her posture stiffened. I already told her it's mine. Yes, he said evenly temporarily. Silence. Then he handed her the document. You failed the condition. Her hands trembled as she read. No, that's not. It is, he interrupted. You were required to provide care and residence to your sister. Instead, you removed her from the property. Her face drained of color. You forfeited everything. The words landed like thunder. And for the first time, she looked at me not with superiority, but fear. No, you can't do this. Her voice cracked in a way I had never heard before. The same girl who stood over me days ago like a queen was now gripping the doorframe just to stay steady. This is my house, she whispered. But even she didn't believe it anymore. Mr. Halverson didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. It was never yours. The officer stepped forward slightly. Not aggressive, just present. Enough to make reality sink in. She turned to me then, really looked at me. Not through me, not above me, at me. Alpha, please, she said, her tone shifting fast, desperation bleeding through every word. We can fix this. I didn't know. I thought. You thought I didn't matter, I said quietly. That hit harder than anything else. Her eyes filled instantly. I was scared. Everything happened so fast. You showed me exactly who you are. I cut in. Calm, steady. And that calm terrified her more than anger ever could. Mr. Halverson closed the folder. Miss, you'll need to vacate the property. The silence that followed wasn't loud. It was hollow because she finally understood. She had destroyed herself. She didn't leave right away. People like her never do. They stall. They cry. They reach for anything that might rewind the moment. Althea, please, she whispered, sitting on the edge of the couch like the house was already slipping out from under her. I'll fix everything. You can stay. We'll split it. Just don't do this. I stood there looking at her. The same living room, the same walls, but everything felt different now. Not because I won, but because I finally saw clearly. You already made your choice, I said. Her lips trembled. I was grieving. So was I replied softly. That ended it. Mr. Halverson gave a small nod and within the hour, arrangements were made. Legal, clean, final. By sunset, the house was mine completely. But here's the part she never understood. The will didn't just test her. It revealed her. Dad didn't leave me $44 million because I needed money. He left it because he knew something I didn't want to accept. That loyalty can't be inherited. It's proven. And when the door finally closed behind her, I didn't feel revenge. I felt free.